Good morning, students. Let's look at this essay, which is an answer for the general training part of the IELTS exam. You can see the question and the answer printed below. The areas highlighted in bold have mistakes. So first of all, can you see the mistakes and can you correct them? Perhaps you might like to pause the audio for a while you do that. Okay, let's look at paragraph 1. Second sentence, I am writing about the noise that has been coming from my house in the last 2 weeks. Paragraph 2, my daughter has joined a music band recently and they have to practice. Oh, actually, this is okay, there is no mistake here. Only mistake is me, my brain hasn't woken up yet. Moving on to the second sentence in paragraph 2. Although they practice every day, only once a week they gather here. This is a bit unclear what this means, because if they practice every day, that would mean that they are there at his house every day, so this is not really clear. If they are practicing somewhere else, then it's really not relevant anyway. So we should change this to something like, fortunately they only practice at my house once a week for their regular training. Something like that. I think the point here is that the writer is trying to play down the problem by saying, yes, it is noisy, but they only play here once a week. So there should be some words to emphasize that it is only once a week. So maybe something like, although I know this noise can be really aggravating, fortunately it only happens once a week when they come here for their regular training session. Moving on to paragraph 3, second line. How annoying all the sounds of the different instruments can be. So not could be, can be, and it should be after instruments. Especially because the band are in the learning phase and sometimes they play totally out of tune. The writer is not making this last point clear. He says especially when it comes to training, but doesn't say why that's a particularly aggravating noise. But I think we can guess, because the students are just learning to play their instruments, so we know what a violin sounds like when somebody unskilled uses one. It can really grate on our nerves. Grate, an expression, grate on our nerves, means very annoying. Here the writer, meaning the character in the story, presumably the father of the young girl, I would guess is also annoyed by the noise. So here he doesn't mention that. He's looking for empathy from he's giving sympathy to his neighbour, but it would be a good tactic to use empathy, saying that he is also disturbed by the noise, so he totally understands how his neighbour must feel. So could use the word empathy. Sympathy would be better here. So something like, I can really sympathise with you because sometimes the noise is so bad I have to lock myself in the bathroom and fill my ears with cotton wool. See here how I'm using my imagination to make the story more interesting, introduce some new vocabulary. Never be afraid to use your imagination and even your sense of humour. You will produce more interesting writing while still remaining on the question. And paragraph 4, just one tiny mistake. In the third line, which is on the 26th of February, not in. Okay, it's generally a good answer to the question. Should get 7+ in IELTS, maybe even 7.5. Yes, I would say maybe 7.5, and the writer has used good supporting ideas. Perhaps I can make one suggestion. A very easy way to improve any speaking or writing is to introduce adjectives or adverbs when you're describing something. So let's just run through this and see what adjectives we could put in front of some descriptive words. So looking at the first line, I'm writing about the loud noise, or aggravating noise, or irritating noise. Paragraph 2, line 2, really important, really very important, really incredibly important. Line 2 in paragraph 2, their first live performance, their very first live performance. Penultimate line in paragraph 3 could be all sounds of different instruments, all the sounds of the widely different instruments. We can imagine, for example, there may be a violin, a trombone, a cello, a piano, assuming these are very rich kids and they have the money to have their own orchestra in their front living room. So here, could have put in a bit more detail as well as adjectives. How annoying all the sounds of these incredibly different instruments can be, especially the drums and the trombone. Paragraph 4, line 2, we're looking for a music room to rent. We're looking for a suitable music room to rent, or we're looking for a large music room to rent, or we're looking for a cheap music room to rent. So I think you get the idea. When you're describing something, it's nearly always very easy to add an adjective to give a little bit more strength to your description. We had a delicious meal yesterday. We went to an exotic restaurant. The weather today is extremely hot and sticky. My girlfriend is very ugly. Oh no, that's not true. My girlfriend is very pretty. I slept really awfully last night. You can practice this by yourself, just when you're walking around doing something. When some idea comes into your head, think about an adjective or adverb you could use to describe this thing. The traffic jams in the road, the noise from the construction site, the smells from the restaurant, and so on. Okay students, good luck with your next assignments. Bye bye.